Well, hello everybody. It's Ronnie with Whip and Chain, and today we're bringing you a beauty. It's this summer's bucket hat. It's gorgeous. Maggie picked the colors for this, and there's a reason I love when she picks the colors. She picks combinations that I'm like, no, no, no in my head, and then they work out beautiful. Look at this. It's to die for. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And this is the color scheme she suggested. She suggested start with the yellow, and then the multicolor, and then the green, and it's gorgeous. So, let's talk about the hat. It is done in all single crochet. So this is a very beginning-friendly hat. Beginner-friendly hat. And the yarn that we have used for this hat is... Yes, my favorite yarn, Hobby Lobby. I love this cotton. So it is cotton. It is thickness of 4. And I used this green, bright citrus. And then for the yellow, again, I love this yarn. This one's called Curry. And then for the middle, again, I love this yarn. And does this have a color name on it? Eastern Nova. Gorgeous. But when I do my sample with you guys, I'm actually going to start with the green, go to yellow, and do this for my last one, just to spice it up a little bit. All right? But I like all the colors, and I would always recommend you go to Hobby Lobby. Their yarn is soft. Their brand yarn is soft. And I never have any issues with their yarn splitting, crocheting uneven, none of it. It is, I will recommend Hobby Lobby to my last breath. Love them. So here is the hat. This is an adult size. Now I used a 5mm crochet hook. The pattern does recommend a 4.5, but my head is bigger, so I just went up a half a thing. So if you seem to be on the smaller, more petite side, I would probably recommend a 4.5, okay? And I will also recommend a stitch marker, and you will need scissors during this project, and you will also need a darning needle. And you can do all one color. You can change the way you color it. There's no wrong. There's no right. Okay? So let's have a little bit of fun. All right. So I said I'm going to start with the green. So here's my green. All right. So this pattern does start with a magic circle. If you cannot do a magic circle, I would recommend you chain 3, slip stitch to the first stitch, and put 8 single crochets in the center. So chain 3, slip stitch, chain 1, and then put 8 single crochets in. If you want to learn how to do the magic circle, I have a couple tutorials on it if you want to look it up. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to pull it a little tight, just not real tight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then for the next round, I want you to put in 2 single crochets in each stitch. And this is where I personally start using, first slip stitch. I apologize. I'm so used to working in the rounds. So after you do your 8, slip stitch into the first stitch to join. And then I want you to chain 1, and now put 2 single crochets in every stitch. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Now you should be able to pull your project tight, okay? And then what I do is I slip stitch into that first stitch and join. All right. So now we're on round 3. So we're going to chain 1. In that same spot, we're going to put in 1 single crochet. And then I will mark where I'm at. And then in the next stitch, put 2 single crochets. Next stitch, 1. And that's our pattern. And next stitch will be 2. Next stitch will be 1. Next stitch will be 2. Next stitch will be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and then 2. So you will end this row on 2. And then you slip stitch to your first stitch. Okay. So the next one, we will chain 1. And in that first stitch, I want you to put 2 single crochets. Then 1 in the next 2. So 1, and 1, and the next one's 2. 1, 2, then 1, and 1, and then 2, and I'll meet you right back at the end. And on this row, you will end with your just 1 single in the last 2 stitches. And then you take out your stitch marker and you slip stitch to your first stitch. All right, I mark off as I go. Row 5, chain 1, 1 single crochet in the first, another single crochet in the next, another single crochet in the next. So the first 3 stitches are all 1 single crochet. And then in the next stitch, you'll put 2. 1 and 2. So I'll do one more with you here. 1 single, 1 single, 1 single, and then 2. Okay, I'll meet you around. So in this row, you will end 1, 2, 3 with 2 in the same stitch. 1 and 2. Okay. All right. Row 6. All we're going to do is chain 1, put 1 single crochet in, mark your first stitch, and we're going to put 1 stitch in each stitch, no increases on this one. And right now you should have 40 stitches, so it's just going 1 around, 3, 4, and 5, and I'll meet you around. Okay, I want to show you something in case you're interested in. When you're making these projects and they're not in the round, you can really see sometimes where the gap is. Because I only have 1 stitch left on this round, but what you can do is in your last stitch, put your hook in, like you're doing your last single crochet, bring yarn up. But then right before where you join, there's 1 more gap. Go in there, bring some yarn up. You will have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and go through all 3. It's a 2 together combined, but you only wanted 1 stitch anyway, so it works. It's just another way of keeping your edges a little cleaner if you are interested in doing that. Okay, so for row 7, we're going to chain 1 and put 2, where am I at? Right here. Put in 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Mark my first stitch again. And now we're going to put 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we'll do 2 in the next one. My Momo's trying to get up here. Come on. Okay. And then 1 in the next 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you put 2 in the next one. 1 and 2. All right, I'll meet you around. Okay, we're coming around. 1, 2, 3, and I'm doing the 2 together in the last stitch, just so my seam isn't as noticeable. And then slip stitch to join. Okay, round 8 is just 1 stitch in each stitch, no increase on this round. And this is 48 stitches. If you want to count 2. And again, here's my 48th stitch. I'm going to grab some yarn and again go into the next stitch near it and join. And slip stitch. Okay. In row 9, we're going to chain 1 and then 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches. Three, 4, 5. Then in the 6th stitch, you put two single crochets in the same stitch. So again, it's 1 single in the next 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2. 1 and 2. And that's our pattern for going around. Okay, coming around. This is my 5th. So in the last stitch, you put 2. So it's 1. And if you want to do this stitch combine, it's on the very last one in the same stitch. And you combine. Take your stitch marker out and join. Okay. Row 10 is matching stitch for stitch. That's 1 and 2. So we should have 56 stitches. So you're just matching stitch for stitch going all the way around. Okay, I'll meet you coming around. Okay, again, coming around. Take this out and slip stitch. So far, this is what it's gonna look like. Okay. We're already on row 11. So we're gonna chain 1, 2 single crochets in that first stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches. then 2. And then 6 singles, and then 2. Coming around, and this will be 5. And then did you want to do that special stitch to hold that together? That's up to you. 6. All right. Row 12. You slip stitch to your first stitch. And I bet you can guess what it is. It's just 1 stitch per stitch going all the way around. And you should have 64 stitches. Okay. So this row is not an increase. This is just matching stitch for stitch. All right. I'll see you when we come around. And I'm coming up on my last 2 stitches. Okay. 3, 4. And then slip stitch. All right, row 13. We're going to chain 1 and then put a single crochet right in there and 1 in the next 7 all together. So 1, first one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then you put in 2. 1 and 2. And that's what this row is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 2. All right, I'll see you when we come around. And I am working my way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 2. 1, and then I'm gonna again join those 2 together, a 2 together, and join. Right. Now, I bet you know what the next row is. 72 stitches, just 1 in each stitch, okay? So chain 1 and match stitch for stitch. Okay, so it's just 1 stitch in each space. Okay, I'll see you at the end. Okay, and my last stitch. Go. And then you slip stitch. Isn't this growing fast? Crazy. Okay. So now it's chain 1, 2 single crochets in this first stitch. Then single crochet in the next, and I'll catch you off guard, 11. This is stabilizing the top of the hat now. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then you put 2 in the next one. Okay, and that's how you do this next round. Oh, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then you make sure you put in that first stitch. Okay, so it's 11 more singles than 2. Eight, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Now, if you're following my pattern, this is where I color change. So take my stitch marker out, and I drop the green, I'll pick up the yellow. Okay. Once you pick up your next color, I want you to chain 1, and now we're just going, let me get it right here. Same stitch, 1 single crochet. Now I'm going to do 2 so I can mark it. There we go. Now we will have 78 stitches all the way around. Okay, so we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows. This would be 1. So 10 total rows of matching stitch to stitch. Okay, so that's what I expect to see when we come back. So it's 10 rows of your next color if you change colors. Okay, so I will see you when we return with that. Okay, this is what it looks like after you do your 10 rows of matching stitch for stitch with the next color. All right, now again, if you're following my color pattern, this is where you will change again. All right, so pull, I guess I'll just do that and then slip stitch. But when you're slip stitching, you're adding your last color on. Okay. So then chain one. Now we are going to do an increase row, but back loops only. So the project's looking at you. The back loop is, this is the front one. This one farthest away from you is the back loop, okay? All right. So in your very first stitch, you're going to do 2 back loops, okay? Very hard to do when you first change, but it'll work. That's 1. And then 2. Now, in the next 2, we'll just do 1 stitch each. In back loops only. 1 and 2. Then the next one, you'll do 2 in the same one, but back loops only. Then 1 in the next 2 stitches. 1 and 1. Then 2 of them. And that is our pattern. 2, 1 and 1, and then 2. Okay. And 2. Okay, I'll meet you at the end. Okay. Now that's what that row looks like. So now the next 5 rows are again matching stitch to stitch. So 5 rows, matching stitch to stitch after this new increase row. All right, I'll see you back. All right, we are coming, believe it or not, we are coming towards the last section before we tie off and we finish. Colors are beautiful. It's working out very nicely. So, looking at the original, so we only have 1 more section to do on the brim. You guys are doing great. Hope you're enjoying this tutorial. All right, so for the next row, which would be actually considered 32, it's 1 more increase. All right, so let me show you. I chained 1. In the first stitch, very first stitch, you put in 2 single crochets. Then in the next 3 stitches, you just put 1 single. 1, 1, and 1. And these are going through the entire chain, not the back, not just the front, the entire chain. Okay, so then we do 2. We do 3 singles. 1, 2, 3, and that is the pattern. So it's 2 in the 1 stitch, then 1 in the next 3. And I did not put my stitch marker back in. Shame on me. I live by my stitch markers. They are what keeps me on task. There we go. So my next stitch would be 2. And 2. And then 1 in the next 3. 1, 2, 3. I do a couple more with you guys, then I will let you do it. All right. I think you guys got this last row under control. I'll see you at the end. Okay, we are coming on the end. Put my last 3 single in. 2. I do my special stitch at the end, and 3. And then I join. Okay, so in the last 5 rows, 5 more rows, just match stitched, first stitch going around, 5 more rows. Okay, after you do those 5 rows, that will be the end, and you finished your beautiful hat. So I will see you after those 5 rows, guys. And here is your final project. Now, this is the color scheme I did the tutorial on. Here is the color scheme. Let's get away from that seam that Maggie suggested. To be honest with you, I like Maggie's. But they're both beautiful. They're beautiful summer hats, beautiful, brilliant colors. Like, gorgeous. Obviously there's a seam there, but you wear that in the back, so it's better to have a little seam than that little jagged when you're playing in the rounds with different colors. When you're doing solid colors, it doesn't really show the rounds, but when you change, it's very distinctive. And I'd rather this, and when you're wearing it, you really don't see it. And there's it on the other one. Then in the rounds where there's a jagged. So it is a very personal preference. You're welcome to do this in the rounds, especially if you're doing a solid color. But you're also welcome to do this in the rounds if you're changing your color and you don't mind that little jagged difference. Like I said, it's just a very personal preference. My personal preference is to have the seam. Like right here. The seams are noticeable. I'm not gonna dance around it, but they're not, like, if you're not a crocheter, this is very, very light. Okay, but they're beautiful. And I am not a hat person, so these bucket hats are going to go in that wonderful grab bag that when Maggie picks people every month, these will be in there. Just like so many of the other things that I have done. I keep a select few, but the rest go in the bags. And thank you for enjoying this tutorial. My name is Ronnie. I work with Maggie and Lauren to bring you these beautiful crochet tutorials. If you enjoy our videos, can you please at the bottom hit that like button and subscribe? And we're also on Facebook for WIP, W-I-P, for Work in Progress. And Chain, come find us on Facebook. We would love to have you part of our fun little community. We are getting closer and closer to the 200 members on our group, and we are I think, less than 25 subscribers away from hitting our 1,000. Guys, you're freaking awesome. I love it. So we're going to keep it coming. If there's something you want to see, please message and let us know through the Facebook app or even on the comments below these videos. Until next video, happy crocheting. We love you. Thank you. Bye now.